everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Isham, and today we're getting back into the swing of things. Alright, so as some of you might know, if you watched some of my more recent videos that I've just now started posting, I'm a relatively recent college graduate. I graduated in May of 2020, so roughly a year ago. My graduation weekend would have been May 14th of 2020. If I'd gotten to have a ceremony, which I didn't because of Miss Rona. So I thought it would be cool if we did kind of like a college story time, kind of a what's my college experience sort of video, if that makes sense. Okay, so to get started, I guess we'll just do a brief overview and then we'll go back and fill in the gaps or the details. So I graduated high school in June of 2017. And then I moved away to college in August of 2017. I think our classes started in August actually even. And for that, I originally went to the College of St. Benedict, which if you don't know, that is a private Catholic university. It is just outside of St. Cloud, Minnesota. They're partnered with another university that's called St. John's University, and that is an all-men's college, while St. Ben's is an all-women's college. And I only stayed at that school for one semester. So I finished out my semester until December of 2017, and then that same school year, when the spring semester started, so in January of 2018, I was starting at a new school. I was at UW Superior, which is located in Superior, Wisconsin, and that is a public liberal arts college. And I stayed there all the way through until I was finished in 2020. Okay, so to fill in a little bit more details than just kind of my overview of like when I went to St. Ben's and when I went to UW Superior. I guess we have to start this story back in high school. So in high school, I was part of this group called Upward Bound, which was a college readiness or college preparation program for first generation or low income students. If you don't know, a first generation college student is somebody who's I guess like your direct like parent or guardian doesn't have a degree. So you're considered like the first generation in your family to be attending college and then also to complete your college coursework and to graduate. So I was considered a first generation student. My mom, she started attending college at a community college. She took a couple classes and didn't actually finish her program. So even though she did go to college for a while, she was not considered like a graduate of the program. So then that would classify me by like their standards as a first generation student. And part of that program, so they had tutoring every week. Once a month they had these things called a Saturday Academy, where you would go and you would like listen to different speakers, and learn some new skills. They helped you with like college applications. They helped you take your ACTs. I actually took the ACT twice. I took it my junior year. So our high school, it was mandatory. We all took it together. Spring of her junior year. And then again in fall of my senior year, Upward Bound paid for me to take it a second time to see if I could better my score. I got literally the same exact score both times. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that means I like maxed out my intelligence level and I stayed there, or if it was just that like I was not motivated to take it a second time and I only did as good as I did when I was originally so nervous to take it, if that makes sense. So anyways, I was part of this Upward Bound program, and with that we did some college tours. So I think it was about maybe like my junior year. I think it was my junior year. We went and toured St. Ben's and St. John's like at the same time. They have a shuttle that runs between the campuses, because even if you're enrolled as a Benny, which is what they call the students of St. Ben's, or a Johnny, which were the students of St. John's, You could take classes on both campuses. So when I was there for my semester, I had 3 classes that were on St. Ben's campus and 1 that was on St. John's. So I'd have to take that shuttle bus. It was called the Link. So we did that with Upward Bound. We went and toured, saw both campuses. We got to ride the bus. And I fell in love with it. I just walking around, it's gonna make me emotional to think about. So I'm sorry if I cry. I felt so at home. It felt like it could be a place for me to start over. I had a lot of things in my past and a lot of things I was trying to run from at the time, around this time when I graduated. And I thought St. Ben's was going to be a great place to do that. And it was so cool, and I applied for some different programs there and everything, and I used to do theater a lot in high school. I did 7 shows in 4 years, and that was honestly like great. Like, I was never the leading character ever. Like, I can't sing worth like shit. Like, I'm a hella good actor, but I cannot sing, so starring in musicals was not really like my vibe, not really the gig that I was meant for. But then when I went to St. Ben's, they offered me a theater scholarship to go to their school and be part of their theater program and to participate in whatever plays or musicals or one acts they were choosing to do. And I was so hyped. I was so excited. I thought it was going to be the best thing ever. It was going to be amazing. And I just remember being there, even like move-in day. And it suddenly didn't feel like home anymore. I did not expect to cry. Wow. So I'm sorry. Yeah, saying goodbye to my family, especially my mom, and knowing that I was going to be there completely alone. That was really hard. There was one other person from my high school who was attending St. Ben's. Only person even who was like in that same city. There's a state school down there as well. Only person from my class who went there was another girl. I won't say her name or anything. We weren't really like friends in high school. We just like knew each other, sometimes kind of ended up in the same classes, but we weren't really like in the same friends groups or academic groups or anything. And I just remember feeling the worst. even from move-in day. I was thinking like, this is not right. I don't like this. Like, this does not feel like the right place for me. I feel so alone. And I think that's a lot of what it came down to of why I wanted to leave. There were a lot of other reasons too. Part of it is that I'm not a religious person. So attending a Catholic school, which I didn't think would factor into the education as much as it did. I thought it was going to be more like layered on top of it, if that makes sense. Like you have like your academics here and like the religion thing here. Same with like, you have like your academics, you have your extracurriculars, you have sports, you have like student employment, whatever, and they're all kind of like tiers in the same like building sort. Like, I don't know if that makes any sense. They're all like together, but they don't all necessarily impact each other and they don't necessarily go together. But it was not like that at all. I remember during our orientation, they made all of us go to a mass at the church, and I remember just fighting with my orientation leaders. I was like, no, like, I'm not religious. I do not want to take part in this religious practice. Like, I understand that I'm not supposed to be separated from our orientation group, but like, I will go back to my room and I will still meet up with you at our next activity at the right time. And it was incredibly difficult, and they didn't let us opt out of that. I just remember being there and being so angry because I was stuck in this church with a bunch of people that I didn't know, some people that I already didn't like, people I already was not getting along with well, and I was listening to words that I didn't believe. And that was really hard. And same with like, they had like a little orientation kind of like meeting or like assembly before everyone went to classes on the first day. And with that, there was like religious speakers, and we had to do like a prayer, and I was very uncomfortable. And I just thought, this is not right. This is not the right fit for me. This isn't what I want to do. Yeah. It's really, really hard though. I remember just that semester, even though I had a lot of cool experiences, I got to rejoin a mock trial team. I got to go to multiple tournaments. I won an award for that, for acting. I was like recognized at the tournament by like the judges and by the hosting school. I actually won a prize. That was awesome for me. Got to work my first ever job, and I was a catering assistant. Absolutely fell in love with that. That was amazing for me. Like, I loved working with people, and I got to like learn how to like roll silverware, and I got to learn how to do like the serving thing, and how to do table settings, and how to take down all this stuff and use like those big like industrial dishwashers where it kind of like it like closes and then it's like the slide thing. I'm not explaining that well. And I got to see a lot of cool like arts things. They had like a requirement that you had to go to a certain number of like theater, music, or art events, and I got to see a lot of that. I got to be involved with like some of the theater stuff again, and it was super cool. But despite all of that really awesome stuff, and despite having some great professors that I still think about, I still think about those classes and those people. I think about how nice everyone was. But it wasn't right. And that was so hard for me to accept, I went the first, 3 months just powering through. I remember crying a lot, being alone a lot, because it was hard for me to try to make friends, and then I was thinking about transferring, and I didn't really want to make friends then. I didn't want to have those people that I was going to have to leave behind. It wasn't until Thanksgiving break of that fall when I went back to Superior. My mom came and picked me up for the holidays. And I remember I just went and I just walked around campus and at UWS. I remember thinking oh my god, this has been right here by me this entire time. I've been on this campus for years already. Upward Bound was located there, and I went to different events and theater programs, and I did an improv group there. And for so long I felt no, I'll never go to UWS. I want to get away from home. I want to have a new experience. I want to meet new people. I want something different. And then that Thanksgiving break, walking around campus by myself in the cold, and just thinking to myself, I will never be more at home than I am right here. Yeah, so I set up a meeting with admissions, that same weekend before I had to go back, and we talked about what it was going to take for me to transfer. I didn't need to reapply, because I had actually applied to UWS and been accepted for the beginning of that fall, and I had chosen not to go there. I had chosen to go to St. Ben's. And I made arrangements to transfer. I had a lot of conversations with my RA at St. Ben's about why I was going out of my housing contract, things that, she could do to help support me, things that could help me with the move. And it was just a really emotional time. And I really did not expect to cry like this. But you always have this image in your mind of how something's gonna go. And then when it's not like that, you just feel so broken, Think what did I do wrong? Did I do something I shouldn't have? Could I have done something better? Is there a way I could have made this work? Am I really making the right decision for myself? This is a really big change. And I thought all of those things, I thought, does this make me a failure? Am I not going to graduate? Am am I going to be stuck with never being able to have a career, never have an education because this one school wasn't working for me? And it was ultra, ultra expensive. I mean, I don't care. I'll say it. It was $55,000 for tuition. Just for 1 year. And that essentially bankrupted me. That I had to spend money on, like, it's not like a deposit, but your, like, acceptance money, basically, like, your money saying, yes, I will accept your offer of admission and I will attend. And I also had to pay for room and board. I had to pay tuition. I had to pay to be able to pack all of my shit and move. I had to pay to buy extra stuff for my dorm that I didn't have before. I had to pay to buy stuff for work. And, like, when I graduated high school and went off to college, I had, like, barely $2,000 in my account. And that's not a lot of money. I mean, maybe straight out of high school, that's not bad considering I didn't work. All I did was save all of my money I'd gotten from stipends at Upward Bound and gifts, and there was a little bit of money my mom had put away for me, and that's what I went into the world with. And that just wasn't going to cut it for a private university. So I made that really, really hard decision. I remember meeting with financial aid at St. Ben's right before I was going to go home for Thanksgiving break, telling them that I was overwhelmed by how much I had to pay out of pocket and if there was any other options for me. And they told me I was going to have to take out another loan for spring semester, even though I had already taken out, I already had 3 loans for that school year. And I had some scholarships and grants and stuff, and I was already paying out of pocket, and I just broke down. I was, like, sobbing and crying, and there was a first generation, like, advisor. There was, like, a kind of like an academic advisor, but specialized for first gen students, and she was like, no, it's okay, like, we can work something out, like, you're gonna be fine, like, we'll figure it out, like, we're gonna be okay. And I remember I was just crying so hard, and I turned and I looked right at her, and I said, this is not going to work. I said, I need to leave. And I looked at that admissions rep, or not admissions, the financial aid rep, and I said, like, that's not enough. Like, that is not a good enough offer that you're giving me, and I'm going to transfer. And that's what I did. I was super hard, but coming back to UWS, I didn't feel like I was failing. That's what I was so worried about. I was so worried that I was gonna fail, or people would think I was a failure for failing after 1 semester out of college, or, like, look down on me because I had decided to transfer instead of having that, like, college dream of, like, you know, staying there for 4 years, working a good job, making good friends, maybe being part of, like, a sorority or a different kind of academic group or anything like that. And I was so scared of that. And I didn't really feel like I was failing or like I was running home. You know, it's not like I was running back to, like, my mom or back to my hometown. It was just like a homecoming, sort of. Not really like me escaping my situation and running home, like, tail between my legs, you know. It was more like I'm making this decision, this is better for me, I can afford this, I will have a better education. Not to say a better education, a better suited education for me if I'm here. And I knew a lot of people who were going to UWS, and honestly, when I was put onto my floor for that semester, I even had friends. One of my really good friends, we'll call her Anna, she was going there. We had a lot of classes together. It was great. I met some more friends. One of my closest college friends transferred also, and she came to UWS, I think, a semester after I did, and honestly, we still talk. She was part of my bridal party, still will be when I finally get to have that big hoedown this winter. And things got a lot better. I made some good friends. I got to work some different jobs, and it was good. Yeah, so I spent that first spring semester just kind of hanging out, getting used to campus, and getting to know my professors. And I remember the one thing that was kind of a game changer for me, I found out that my application had been accepted and that they were going to offer me a job to be a resident assistant for the following school year. And let me tell you, I was over the moon. I was so excited. My whole like middle and like high school life, I was like, I'm going to be an RA in college. I'm going to be an RA, going to be an RA, going to be an RA. Like, that's what I want to do. I don't want to do any other campus jobs. Like, that's cool. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to like make the posters. I want to do programs. I want to like hang door decorations. I want to be like in meetings. I want to be that strong leader on my floor. And that's what I did. So summer of 2018, I was a summer resident assistant for Upward Bound. It was a 6-week program, so I did that. Right after that program ended, I moved back to my mom's for a little bit. I only had about 3 to 4 weeks of a gap between when that summer program or my summer employment ended until when I had to come back to campus for training. So I did essentially nothing for 3 to 4 weeks. Hung out with my family. I slept. I played a lot of video games. I just relaxed. Because I had gone pretty much straight from my academic year into my summer employment. And that was like, it was just a lot. Like my first semester at a new school, first like semester working this new job, and like going straight into summer employment was a lot to do. The cats are upset because they got locked out of the room this time. They are consistently loud when I'm trying to film, so don't mind them. But yeah, so then I came back, we went to RA training. I had some of like the coolest co-workers, honestly. Like some of them I even still talk to and I'm still like good friends with. So I worked in a co-ed building and on a co-ed floor. So on my floor there was a male and a female RA. So I had a co-worker who was a guy, and he was so cool. He had been an RA previously. So for me coming in, kind of like having a little experience because I had that summer RA job, but not like entirely knowing and like being still like new to UWS, that was so helpful for me. It's actually kind of funny because like the same person who was now my co-worker had been my RA on like during my transfer semester, if that makes sense. So like when I transferred to UWS and I was placed on the floor, I was actually a resident on this person's floor. I'm not going to use any names because I don't have permission to share their stories. I'm telling my story the way that it happened for me and the way that I see things. So I thought that was kind of cool to be like I kind of like looked up to this person and went to them for help to like, now we work together and we have like just like kind of a different relationship where we're kind of like equals and we kind of help each other, pick up each other's slack when we need it, have new ideas, all of that, go to like meetings together. Of course, there was other floors. There was 8 total floors in my combined building. So there was 8 on my half of the building, 8 staff members, and then there was 4 on the other side because they were all single-gendered floors. So there was about, if I can do math, there was 12 of us plus our like managing staff. And all was well and good. That was fine. And then during that school year, in January of 2019, it was the very first day of spring classes. That's the day I met my now husband. We matched on Tinder, and the very first conversation we had on there was about books. So I kind of knew from the start that things would go well with him. So we started dating in March of that year. The school year ended in May. And then right away I was moved to a different building and I was promoted to assistant hall manager instead of resident assistant. And my same coworker from my floor was also promoted, so we like moved together to a new building. And then we had a different manager and some kind of different staff and different residents. It was an upperclassmen dorm where we were moved to, whereas before we had been in a freshman year dorm. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, so I did that throughout the summer of 2019 into the fall. That coworker ended up transferring colleges for whatever his reasons were. I won't say anything about that. But he transferred, So they had to hire on a new staff person, and then when they hired on that new staff person, they experienced some family issues and had to resign. So then it was a vacant position, and it left a lot of work on me where I felt like I wasn't being respected at work. I wasn't being heard. I did not get along the best with my like direct manager. Not like the, though I didn't really particularly like the overhead managers either, but like my direct supervisor wasn't really like the best fit for me, and I didn't really like that I was moved to a new building and not in the same building where I'd been in RA, because I knew nothing about this new building. Like, I'm supposed to be a manager, but like I don't even know like where you keep your scissors in this office, you know, like I don't know anything. Like, I've never dealt with these kind of residents. This, like, the policies here are a little bit different. There's just different stuff going on. And ultimately I resigned as well. I moved back into my mom's house in October of 2019. And that was really, really, really fucking hard. It was just like the whole thing with transferring schools, where I felt like I was supposed to be successful and I was supposed to be great and fantastic, and I was supposed to like do the things I said I was going to do. And then when it came down to it, and then that wasn't a good, healthy fit for me, I felt like I'd done something wrong. Even though I know I hadn't done anything wrong, and it's okay for things to not work out for you. It's okay to have, you know, places you try out that you don't necessarily like, or places you think you want to be that you learn you don't want to be at, or jobs that you think you can do and then ultimately that's not a great fit for you and you'd rather do something else. None of those things make you a failure, but it really felt like it in the moment. I had a lot of great support though from, well, now husband, but boyfriend at the time. He, you know, helped me move out of my dorm and move everything back, helped me that transition and everything, and really supported me. What else did I do? Worked some other jobs. There was a psychology, like, academic club. So my junior and senior year, I was president of that club. My academic advisor came to me after my first semester and said that there was a vacancy in, like, leadership for that position, and asked if I wanted to do that. So I did it. I was a club called Psi Chi, and I was the president for 2 years. There was also a more formal club. Oh wait, no. I said that backwards. I was not the president of Psi Chi. That was the more formal club. A friend of mine was president of that, so we worked together a lot. But mine was called Inkblots. I cannot believe I just told that story wrong. I promise I actually, like, have a good memory and care about the things I did in college. Wow. Yikes. So, yeah. And then I lived at home until May 1st, 2020, and then that's when my then boyfriend and I moved to St. Cloud together. I was supposed to start grad school as soon as I graduated. Again, because of COVID, things look a little different, and I'm not going to grad school. I don't know if that's in my future or not right now. And we eventually moved away from the city, and we're living up near where my husband grew up. We also got engaged on the same day that we moved, which was about 2 weeks before my graduation. So that's kind of my college experience. I would say overall it was a good experience. I would recommend going to college if you're in high school or if you're graduated and you're thinking about it. I think the experiences you'll have, the stuff that you're going to learn, the people you're going to meet. I mean, even as simple as like some of the places you might live or food you might eat, I think all of those are worthy experiences that are good for you to have. And even when things don't necessarily work out the way you were planning them to, doesn't mean it's going to be bad. Which is kind of what I was thinking it was going to be. It's not though. I don't really believe that everything happens for a reason, but I do think that you are guided to the things that will serve you best. So even if you're longing for something or hoping for something and it's just not working out for you and you have to pick a different kind of option, just know that it might not be the worst thing in the world for you. It might actually be good that you have those different experiences. Like, I wouldn't have graduated early if I'd stayed at St. Ben's. I wouldn't have met my husband if I would have stayed there. I probably, I don't know what else because there's so many things, right? I might not have had the same work experiences. I might not have even stayed in college. I might have been a dropout if I had tried to stay at a place that was not serving me, that I felt like I didn't fit in, that I couldn't afford, that made me feel so isolated. But transferring opened up a whole lot of new doors. I had all kinds of cool experiences. I got to meet a lot of great people. Some of them will be hopefully friends for life. And that's just kind of how life goes sometimes. So that's a little bit more about my college experience. I know that it got a little bit sad and I cried a little bit, but just kind of reliving those kind of uncomfortable and tense and stressful emotions and thinking back on those situations is very hard. And it's okay for it to be hard. I haven't really told this complete story to a lot of people, but now it's out there on the internet for everyone to see, so that's okay. Also, I'm trying to do like shirts that fit the theme of my video. So today we have chronically fatigued but never rested. This is actually a saying that I say like a lot. So my husband had this t-shirt made for me and I just think that's so fitting for like a college video. Maybe it's dumb, but I think it's cute. So yeah, so if there's anything else you want to know, or if you want more in-depth videos or anything about any of the experiences I just talked about, whether that's more in-depth about the transferring process or about those work experiences or getting through some of that stuff, I'd be glad to do that. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I know today is not entirely the kind of videos I normally do, but I hope it was eventful, maybe funny at times, hopefully not very sad. And I will catch you guys again in my next video. Thank you all for watching. Bye!